Alright, this is section 5.2. We are continuing to solve inequalities, this time using multiplication and division. So like we talked yesterday, if you can solve an equation, you can solve an inequality. Yesterday we used addition and subtraction to solve today's multiplication and division. So there is one special rule you have to know to solve an inequality using either multiplication or division. It says if you multiply or divide by a positive number, the inequality remains the same. If you multiply or divide by a positive number, nothing changes. However, if you multiply or divide by a negative number, the inequality symbol is reversed. Can you please circle this phrase on your notes page? It is very important and something we need to make sure we're paying attention to. If we multiply or divide by a negative number, we're going to flip that inequality symbol in the next line of our work. If we multiply or divide by a positive number, nothing changes. But if it's a negative number that we're multiplying or dividing by, we have to do some changing. So look at this example with me. This is letter A. P divided by 2 is less than or equal to 2. If this was an equation, not an inequality, what would you do to solve it? Good. Multiply by 2. So let's do that. I'm going to multiply the left side by 2, and I'm going to multiply the right side by 2. So we have P is less than or equal to 4. So like we talked yesterday, when we solved an inequality, we're going to have lots of answers, not just one answer. So the answers are all the numbers that are less than or equal to 4. So let's graph those solutions on our number line. Would you use an open or a closed circle at 4? Close. So please put a closed circle at 4. And what direction is my graph going to go to represent all the numbers that are less than or equal to 4? To the left. Yesterday we said that if we make that inequality symbol into an arrow, that arrow is pointing to the left, that's the same direction that our graph is going to go. That will always work as long as the variable is on the left-hand side, and it is here. How about this one? Negative 2.5y is greater than 3. If I want to get y by itself, what would I do first? Divide by negative 2.5. Now, this is one of those special cases. I'm dividing by a negative number. What did we just learn is going to happen to our inequality symbol? Yeah, it's going to be reversed. It's just going to flip it. So instead of greater than, we're going to make it less than. This is the symbol I'm referring to, and it's just going to flip. It's going to become less than. So on your calculators, if you haven't already done that, take 3 divided by negative 2.5. Did you get negative 1.2? So our solutions are all the numbers less than negative 1.2. Where does negative 1.2 fall on our number line? Between negative 1 and negative 2, but is it closer to negative 1 or closer to negative 2? Closer to negative 1, so just past negative 1, really. What direction is my graph going to go? To the left. This one, letter C, I have A divided by 3 is less than or equal to 12. If I want to get A by itself, what would I do to both sides of the inequality? Multiply by 3s, correct? Now, when I multiply by a positive 3, does that change my inequality symbol? No. The number we're multiplying by is a positive number. Nothing changes. So the problem, or the graph, is going to be A is less than or equal to 36. Now on the number line, we don't have the number 36, do I? So let's just fix fix our number line. I'm just going to change some of these numbers. I'm going to make this 36, 37, 38. We'll just make it work for us. Go ahead and cross off the other numbers so it's a legit number line. Will we use an open or a closed circle at 36? Closed circle. In what direction is that graph going to go? How about letter D? Negative 4.2m is greater than 6.3. If I want to get m by itself, what would I do? Divide. Negative 4.2. Now I'm divided by negative 4.2. Does that cause my symbol to change? Yes, then we're dividing by this negative. So we're going to flip that and make it less than. So on your calculator, take 6.3 divided by negative 4.2. I have negative 1.5. Did you get the same? So at negative 1.5, that's between negative 1 and negative 2, are we going to use an open or closed circle? Open. And what direction are we going to graph all the solutions that are less than negative 1.5? To the left. I'm going to skip around just a little bit. Can you guys find this slide for me? It's on the back side. Second column, second row. Excuse me, first column, first row. First column, second row. That's what I meant to say. First column, second row. Letter D. So I have negative 1/2 n is less than 6. If I want to get n by itself, what could I do to get rid of negative 1/2? Multiply by what? Negative 2, the reciprocal. Do you remember that? For multiplying by a fraction, to get rid of it, we'll multiply by its reciprocal, which is negative 2. What I don't want you to do is I don't want you to divide by a fraction. I instead multiply by the reciprocal. Do I need to change the inequality symbol here? Yes. Why? Right, the number we're multiplying by is negative. So it's going to be n is greater than negative 12. For the purpose of our notes, I'm not going to graph this one. I expect you guys to put this on a number line at this point and graph it. You guys feel confident you can do that on a number line? Let's jump to the next slide, please. Letter A says the opposite of n divided by 6 is less than or equal to 8. Does anybody have an idea how you might solve that letter A? Good. Multiply by negative 6. Remember this negative, we can move it to the denominator if we need to, right? And I would definitely do what everybody else suggested. Multiply by negative 6. So that leaves me with n. Do I need to flip the inequality symbol here? Absolutely. Why do we flip it? We're multiplying by a negative number. 8 times negative 6 is negative 48. Again, I'm not going to worry about graphing right now because I want to get you some more examples. How about letter B? What would you do to get m by itself? Instead of dividing by a fraction, what's a better choice? Multiply by the reciprocal. And what is the reciprocal of 1/5? 5. Let's multiply both sides of the equation by 5. That leaves you with m. Do I need to flip the inequality symbol? What about this? Negative 3 is negative. Does that cause it to flip? No, it doesn't. What number am I looking at? The 5. The 5, what number we're multiplying both sides by? That would cause me to flip. So it doesn't flip. Still greater than or equal to negative 15. How about letter C? What would I do to get P by itself? Negative 4/3. Negative 3/4. Goodness. Do I need to flip the inequality symbol in this example? Yes. So negative 10 times negative 3/4. Did you get 7.5? So p is less than 7.5. We flip the symbol. Letter C. How can I get t by itself here? Multiply by what? The reciprocal. What is the reciprocal of 3/8? 8/3. So do I need to flip the symbol here? I don't. I'm not multiplying by a negative number. It's a positive. So it's positive 40/3. And this is going to be a repeating decimal. This should be 13.3. T is less than 13.333. Okay, so I've been saying if you multiply by a negative number, divide by a negative number, you have to flip the symbol. Do you know why you have to do that? Other than the teacher said it's what you do. Do you know why? Let me show you. It actually makes sense if you think about it. Okay. So if I gave you negative, let's do positive numbers. So 3 is less than 5. Is that true? Is 3 less than 5? Okay. So the properties of equality apply here. That means if I multiply something on the left side of the inequality, I have to do it to the right side. So if I take this side times negative 2, and I multiply this time times negative 2, I would get negative 6 is less than negative 10. Is that true? No, negative 6 is not less than negative 10, is it? In order to make it true, I have to do what? I have to flip the sign. Now, if I had multiplied, let's do it with a different color. We started with 3 is less than 5, and I multiplied by positive 2 on both sides. 6 is less than 10. Is it still true? Yeah. So if I multiply by a negative number, it's no longer true, unless I flip that inequality symbol. Okay? And the same thing applies for division. If I was to divide both sides by a positive number, it still remains true. But if I divide by a negative number, I have to flip the symbol to make it true. Two is less than 4, that's true, right? If I divide both sides by negative 2, I get negative 1 is less than negative 2. Is that true? No. And again, to make it true, we would have to flip the symbol. If I divide it by a positive 2 on both sides, it remains true, doesn't it? If we divide by a negative number and multiply by a negative, we do have to flip that symbol to make it remain true. All right, real quick, let's look at the word problems. Look at the one where it talks about Mark. Mark walks at a rate of 3/4 mile per hour. So Mark walks at a rate of 3/4 mile per hour. He knows that it's at least 9 miles to Unks Lake. How long will it take Mark to get there? Write and solve an inequality to find the time. Okay. They're asking us, how long will it take? We want to know the number of hours it's going to take. So to start this, can you please say x equals the number of hours? This is defining our variable. This is letting everyone know when we use x in our inequality here in a second, that it's representing the number of hours. Let's see where we're at. If he walks at a rate of 3/4 mile per hour, 3/4 mile per hour. That word per makes me think multiplication. 3/4 mile per hour. Well, how many hours is it taking him? We don't know. That's what x is. 3/4 mile x. It says it's at least 9 miles. How can I show at least? solve this inequality to figure out how many hours it's going to take. So if I wanted to solve this, what would I do to both sides? Don't divide by 3 fourths. Multiply, yeah. Let's multiply by 4/3. Multiply by the reciprocal. So on your calculator, type in 9 times 4/3. So 9 times 4 is 36, and 36 divided by 3 is 12. Do you think that seems like a reasonable answer? Yeah. 12 what? 12 hours. It's going to take him at least 12 hours. My opinion, Mark needs to find another way to get to this lake. It's going to take him half a day to walk there, isn't it? Yeah. If he starts at 8 a.m., he's not going to get there until 8 p.m. Mark needs to get a bike or catch a ride with somebody else, I believe. Or maybe pick up running. Maybe you get there a little faster. Let's see. Although, I think the answer seems reasonable for this situation, for sure. But Mark's a little crazy. I think I'm going to stop here for today. We are solving inequalities using multiplication and division. We learned today that if we multiply or divide by a negative number, what has to happen? We have to flip this on the inequality symbol. Today's homework is going to be out of your textbook. If you don't have a book, go and grab one from the shelf. And while you're doing that, I will put the assignment up here on the board.